Good evening. As always, glad you could end your Tuesday night with us here tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Edgar Cedillo. Glad you could end your Sunday night and your weekend with us here tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Edgar Cedillo. Our top story tonight, President Biden made the historic announcement today that he's stepping away from his re-election efforts. Last night, we reported in a spike in fentanyl overdoses in the mining city that caused police and first responders to warn the public about a strong strain of the drug in the community. Despite that, they did make some gains in the Montana legislature and even managed to break the Republican supermajority. Montana's Democratic Senator John Tester, who just days ago called on Biden to step aside, said, quote, Montana's soon-to-be senior Senator Steve Daines to talk about the Trump transition and why he's excited about what's ahead. While California and New York can move aside, Montana is now the #1 state as the least affordable state to buy a home. As you just heard Jane say, there is a ton of smoke in the area, and crews continue to fight the Meridian fire that's burning in Madison County. Well, college football is officially back in the Gallatin Valley as the Bobcats come home after a 2-game win streak on the road. There's a lot of generational differences with how each generation gets their news from. Gen X, for example, still relies heavily on getting their news from TV. My generation, Gen Z, relies heavily on social media to get their news, so they use a lot of Instagram and TikTok. But it's baby boomers who still rely on a lot of traditional news media like newspapers and TV to still get their information of the day. There's dog waste stations like this at the M Trail meant to keep dog waste out of the trails, but a lot more people lately have been noticing that there's more dog poop on the M Trails, leading to a smelly situation. Good evening, everyone. I'm Edgar Cedillo here outside of the Gallatin County Courthouse. We're actually across the street just so we can show you the hundreds and hundreds of people who are currently still standing in line to cast their vote. As you can see, this parking lot sits pretty empty on the 4th of July on a day that normally should be filled with cars and visitors. This after an overnight shooting left one person dead and a park ranger injured.
As thousands of Montana State fans get ready to fill Bobcat Stadium out for the 3rd consecutive season for a playoff game, millions of dollars are then poured back into the local economy.
I will say that my hand warmer hasn't been working, and it's definitely not as toasty as it is in the studio, but the vibes here are actually pretty warm. I went to bed early last night because I knew I had to work early this morning and woke up at 7 p.m. thinking it was 7 a.m. and I got really scared that I missed the show. Good Tuesday morning, Southwest.
You had to think about it, didn't you?
I almost said Saturday for some reason.
Oh, man,
it's
don't
only
do that
Tuesday,
to me.
unfortunately. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I was just telling Jane how the mining city looks kind of like a Christmas village right there.
It is a beautiful
Not to get
view.
everyone in the Christmas spirit only on the 5th day of August. I will say my tan, though, is still my summer tan.
Yeah, me too. It's great.
This tan is still lingering, so I can't complain too much.
Two words that have been used to describe them are kind of magical and miracle, you know? I mean, no one ever would have thought that this is how our season would have ended.
Before the celebratory ride around Manhattan, the Lady Tigers softball team began their season reeling the loss of their teammate Delaney Doherty after she was killed in a head-on crash last August.
We thought about Delaney every game, every day.
First-year head coach Dennis Elgis wasn't sure of what to expect, but one thing was for sure, that this team was going to play and live like D.
At the beginning of the year, we sat down and talked that we were going to play for Delaney all year and we were going to win the state championship.
After a 12-0 shutout loss against Shepherd High School on the first day of the state tournament, the miracle and the magic showed.
Lost on Friday, we kind of got really motivated to okay, we're gonna make it to Saturday and we're gonna make some noise.
The first day's loss was their motivation going on to win 5 games in a row. They then rematched Shepherd in the title game, having to beat them twice.
And I think that when we stepped foot into the championship game, we knew that this was our moment to leave it all out on the field. And Delaney was, again, just such an inspiration to all of us.
They won those 2 championship games for the first ever program title with Cablin on the mound.
And I said, I need to get 1 or 2 innings out of you, and then I'll bring Morgan in relief. And she was on a roll, and I let her go.
With tears running down her face, she threw the final strikeout of the game, and her teammates flooded the field in celebration.
There was definitely tears of sadness, you know, that the season was over, and tears of joy because, you know, we just did the impossible.
To know that Delaney was looking down and looking over us, and I know that the biggest smile was on her face when she saw that we won.
The support from the people of Manhattan was felt more than ever this season.
It's so awesome. We live in such an awesome, close-knit community. Like, we're all so blessed to be able to have a community that loves and supports us so much.
But above all, it was their teammate Delaney Doherty that carried them to the top.
We all kind of know that she saw what we did and she's proud of us, so it's nice to be able to know that she's probably beaming with joy up there right now. No one's ever going to forget what we've done, with not only because of the state championship, but just what we've persevered through.
In Manhattan, Edgar Cedillo, MTN News. On Tuesday night, Bozeman city leaders heard from Bozeman's fire and police chief about the possibility of bringing forward a mill levy that would expand both the fire and police departments in the city.
It would add a fourth fire station in the southwest corner of town. That gives us another fire engine, more firefighters.
Tuesday, Bozeman's fire and police chief asked city leaders for their input on an idea for a proposed mill levy that would grow their departments.
We've got to have the fire trucks to answer calls. So this would add another fire truck to the department along with the quick response vehicle. So today we have 3 response units. This would move us to 5.
With the levy, the fire department would add a station, new trucks, and personnel.
So Fire Station 2 and Station 3 are about the same size, and that's about what you would see at a Fire Station 4.
Right now, Bozeman Fire has 52 sworn people on staff. This would add 22 sworn members to the fire department. Bozeman Police currently has 66 sworn officers. This proposal would add 30 sworn positions and 8 non-sworn positions.
So a number of the officers we're asking for are just to get caught up to where we should be today.
Bozeman Police Chief Jim Veldkamp says that this would allow the department to focus on investigations and being proactive about preventing crime.
One of our goals of this would be to dedicate people exclusively to running traffic. And when we're not proactively responding and just reactively responding, the more calls we have, the slower our response time is.
Both chiefs say that this change would not happen overnight. Waldo says that the earliest a 4th fire station can be built and then staffed would be at least 2027.
We've got to have the fire truck to put the people on.
Both say that the cost and the tax burdens that this will have on residents is still being studied.
The cost it is to the community is well worth keeping Bozeman the safe place that we all know and love.
That's what we're going to be doing over the next month, is figuring out what's the fire station going to cost us, what are these personnel going to cost us.
Ahead of the Cat Grizz rivalry, not only are the football teams getting ready, but the Spirit of the West Marching Band is also getting ready for Saturday's big game. Each instrument coming together to play one beautiful melody to provide a great game day experience.
You know, it's always the one game every season that we look forward to so much.
Members of the Spirit of the West Marching Band fill Bobcat Stadium warming up for the big game.
So much more is at stake for that game, and to just know that we're a part of the atmosphere, helping the Cats give it their all.
For senior Jordan Jensen, he sees the music as vital to the game.
I think morale is really important for the audience and for our team. You know, we got to keep kicking butt, and it's hard to do that when you're not feeling, at the top of your game.
Senior Carrie Babcock says that there's tons of suspense with this centuries-long rivalry.
You don't really know what's going to happen. The Grizz sometimes win, the Cats sometimes win, and so it's a lot more intense.
Montana native Amanda Fichter grew up with the rivalry all around her.
I'm a born and raised Montanan, so I've heard about this rivalry before I even realized what football was.
Now she's part of it.
See that rivalry in person has been the best part.
This matchup is something band members all look forward to every year.
Cat Grizz is the craziest, biggest, most fun game. I really have fun with the rivalry.
They say music brings the fans and the team together.
It is so much fun, especially when the Cats score a touchdown and we get to play the fight song and all the fans are all in it.
Their instruments help them be a part of something bigger, something they hold with pride.
That's something to be proud of, that we come into the stadium and we bring that sense of energy and that sense of class.
Honestly, so cool and awesome to be a part of something that you can be proud of yourself.
Each one of them coming together.
Step.
I am a part of a bigger collective of 200 people who are marching on a field, who make shapes and make cool music that our audience wants to hear.
In Bozeman, Edgar Cedillo, MTN News.